Welcome back, team. So for part 2 of the Paris Broken Wrist series, we are going to review our road shoes, our road shoe of choice. We've both been using these for about 6 months. We have different shoes. Can you remember the name of yours, Paris?
Oh, it's the Shot 2.
Yeah, so Sidi Shot 2.
What are yours?
Mine's the Wire Carbon 2.
You've already forgotten, haven't you? You have no idea.
Yeah, so we've both ridden the entire summer in them, so we've got very good kind of feel for them. We also did the Strava Quarry Wood Climb Challenge in them, which is quite telling. We'll chat about that in a second. What were your first impressions?
I really like them. I think when I hadn't worn them in, I felt they were quite uncomfortable because they're so stiff. So compared to some of my other shoes that I've worn, obviously these have carbon soles, so they're a lot stiffer.
Through the whole length of the foot,
yeah,
right? You can feel it.
So I think I massively felt that as well. It's not necessarily like I got pains, but I think I felt they were so stiff that it was a little bit uncomfortable. But I think once you get used to them, they're fine. Did you feel the same?
Like 100% agree. It's like it's a really stiff shoe, and like
it's just different.
Yeah, like I'm one of those riders that I like crank my shoes as I go through the ride. Like I start with them quite loose, and then just like will crank as I kind of, you know, for the first like 15-20 minutes of a ride, as your foot kind of settles into the shoe.
Okay.
Which basically means that after about 20 minutes of riding, once like you've got through the warm up, they're tight. So after about an hour and a half, like I would definitely feel like they were like you know, it's like wearing a really firm pair of shoes. They're slightly less forgiving, I guess, is the way.
Whereas I think sometimes when I put them on, just again because I was used to my old ones, I would crank them up quite tight and then find myself cycling along having to undo them a little bit.
Okay, that's interesting. I kind of
space.
go the other way.
Yeah.
Right, let's talk about the shoe itself. Some of the unique features. I mean, they're two different shoes, but both designed by the same brand. And these two shoes actually have some similarities in them. We're going to throw Paris under the bus a little bit. You've already mentioned it the first time. We have the full
Carbon.
Cool, full carbon plate. Both shoes have full carbon plates. They have slightly different vent systems underneath. Retail-wise, your pair cost?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see.
They're roughly around £400, right? Like 410. I think yours are listed on the Saddleback website. That's the Shot 2, the Sidi Shot 2.
Yeah.
The Wire Carbon 2 retails £390.
Which I had no idea that this was even a thing, and I was just saying with my last shoes that didn't have this, and I wore them down so much, and it's the kind of thing where they were probably like £70 shoes, but once you've worn those down, they're worn down, they're gone, they're done. Whereas I think that's mental that you can actually change them. I think that's really useful. Yeah,
so basically what they're saying is if you buy a good pair of shoes, like a good high quality pair of shoes, and look after them and kind of replace the heel and the toe caps, you're going to get way more cycling out of it. Yeah. Plus, the upper is going to become, like, because it's quite a firm shoe and some really good materials, the upper will kind of becomes a bit more malleable and kind of fits your foot a little bit better after a certain amount of miles, right? Like you wear it, like kind of wear it in a little bit. So having
I still feel like mine is super, super stiff.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I guess like, yeah. Do some more cycling.
Yeah, I clearly do. But I swap between my shoes quite a lot, whereas I feel like when you're especially outside, you only wear those.
Yeah, these are like my go-to, these are basically my only pair of outdoor cycling shoes.
Whereas mine, I wear them slightly differently to you, because if I'm popping to Richmond for my half a lap and a coffee, as per, I would tend to go to my other shoes. Whereas these would be more of like a longish, but not super like hefty journey.
Yeah. So the other thing they have that's unique, that they both have, so I guess not unique, is the heel adjuster.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look into this because I didn't obviously not know this was even a thing, typically.
So you can just basically close the heel cage a little bit. So, for instance, when we did the Quarry Wood Climb, is obviously a hill climb. If you're hill climb, you kind of tend to pull with your heel a little bit more. You tend to kind of like not only do the push, but you will pull, and you'll be up out the saddle. If you were kind of really keen to it, you could like crank those a little bit, close up the heel, make it slightly, I guess, more secure / less comfortable, but you'd get that's wattage, that's performance. Like you will get a performance gain, and that's the one thing I definitely feel about this shoe is like I think Alex Honnold said it when he did Free Solo. He was like, when it comes to do his big climb, he puts on his tightest pairs of shoes, and it kind of feels the same, right? Like he said, it made him feel like a fine, like samurai warrior, like getting his sharpest sword out, and that's kind of what it feels like.
But it feels so much more like comfortable in that sense, because I wouldn't want to go and try and do that Strava segment and try and get a really fast time in my other shoes.
Yeah, like a soft shoe.
Yeah, you would automatically want to go to something like this, which is sturdy.
They're not a cheap shoe, but I think if you kind of actually dial into the shoe as a whole, the fact that you can replace parts of it, the fact that you can create the tension around your heel as well as the dual, like.
Are you ever going to try adjusting this?
Probably not. I do care a lot about wattage.
Yeah. Don't we all know?
But I don't tend to feel like it's a problem for me. Like I don't have any like heel slip or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I crank the hell out of the dial system.
Is yours, do you find yours is, obviously you've got this extra front bit as well. Do you feel like compared to other shoes that, like mine, do you feel like there's a difference having this bit as well?
Yeah,
do you think it's more
I think it definitely makes it feel more comfortable, because a lot about it's the same with like running, right? It's about where the tension sits over your whole foot. The fact that there's a dual, both of these operate like a dual dial system, kind of locks not only the top part of your foot but also the lower part.
Yeah.
And in which case, like every time you pull, you just feel like so much more connected to the pedals.
Yeah.
I 100% realize that and like recognize that, especially when we're out on rides or you want to put an effort in, or like for instance when
I wouldn't know what that is.
Yeah, like but you know, we've got our TT coming up, you know, well hopefully in a few months, and I'd be willing to just like completely just crank down on these dials, get as tight as possible, and kind of suffer with like a slightly less comfortable foot for 45 minutes, knowing that you just feel so like in tune with the power that's going through your legs going through to the bike. So style wise,
I really like them. Yeah, I personally don't like your ones so much. I'm not a fan of white shoes, which I know a lot of people would disagree on, but because they're paint and white, I'm not a massive fan of. Whereas I love mine because they're matte, and I always go for black. Yeah, I love mine. I think they're really nice. I think mine are more stylish than yours.
It kind of is worth saying though that like both of us have put a decent amount of miles outdoors in both shoes, and you don't look after your kits. I'm like astonished that your shoe
bad, are they?
Still looks that good.
Yeah,
I think it's like
there's
no like
one of them somewhere, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's no like fraying. There's no kind of worn heels.
They've lasted really well.
And you know, this is a good 6 or 7 months of cycling. I know you haven't been cycling too much the last 2 months, but it's like it's definitely. And we've done winter rides in them, and
I think I have been more careful with these ones, but also even just in terms of wearing down, they haven't actually worn down that much. But there was a point where I was commuting in these every single day, and that included quite a lot of walking as well. So considering how little they've actually worn down from that, and this was like months of commuting and then walking like a decent distance to and from the office to the bike. So they've done well.
Not to walk in mine. Okay, right then, scores then. Out of 10.
Out of 10. Oh, that's a really difficult one.
Do you want to say it at the same time?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, well let me think. Yeah, I'm good. I'm locked in. Yeah. Ready?
Okay.
3,
2, 1.
8, 6. Really?
Yeah.
What is it you don't like about it? Is that because you kind of get like emotionally attached to shoes?
I do get emotionally attached to shoes. No, my first pair of shoes have gone, so I'm not emotionally attached to them anymore. No, I think for me, just because I'm less about the wattage and the power, just to stand with me, I have to be comfort full on.
Oh, so, I see, yeah.
Yeah, for me, the comfort is massive, and it's, as I said, like, because I haven't, like, worn them, well, I don't know if it's because I haven't worn them in, I think it is just because they're carbon-plated ones. They are a lot.
Inherently, like, a fast shoe is kind of, like, slightly less comfortable.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's like, for me, it's the opposite. Like, I upscore it because it is slightly less comfortable, and I know that translates to...
Yeah, whereas I think for me, I'm like, I have to just go, like, comfort is top for me.
But also, neither of us have like an insole in them. So, like, realistically, if we had like a cycling insole in there...
Insole? If we had an insole?
then I think you'd probably find that your foot would sit slightly better, and it might alleviate, because this is basically just one solid, like really solid.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no give.
Movement. Yeah.
So if you actually make the shoe fit the sole of your foot a bit better, you will get a more comfortable.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But otherwise, though, style and everything, like I really like them. I only give them a 6, literally just because of the comfort side of things, and that is just me personally. You know what I'm like. I go around Richmond. I don't even do the whole lap. And I get a coffee. I need the comfort.
So true. Yeah, and I'm the other, like 8.6, because I just think it's a really great shoe. It's a really fast shoe, and I think
Why 0.6?
Because it kind of gets, because it's kind of verging towards the 9s, but then like I feel like if you don't give yourself any wiggle room, what happens in future's time if like the most elite ever carbon painful shoe comes out? No, but I think like in all seriousness, they're not the lightest of shoes. I think it's like 330 grams. I can't imagine yours are much different. I think like things like the heel cage and the solidness of the heel, it does kind of like build into the weight a little bit. Even if you were to have like it's a really firm upper, like as in like it's a sturdy shoe. But if you had like a synthetic upper, it's just
much lighter.
It would be lighter. So I kind of got to give it a little bit of wiggle room. But I think as a shoe, as a great, I mean they refer to these as like a summer shoe. I'm not sure I'd spend.
Do they?
Yeah, like 400 quid to have a seasonal shoe.
That's fair enough.
But I wear them in the winter. I cover them with full covers. So that's our shoe review. I think. Sign us off.
Like it.
That's it. So we'll see you on the next one.